What I see at this point in time, in fact, is a society that's going down the proper road.
The release of the Ruck report sees 21 recommendations made to address systemic discrimination in Nova Scotia's legal community. Findings show the province's legal system is not working the same for everyone.
It's my feeling that is the roadmap to making the barrister society more effective, much more approachable, and to regain the trust that has been lost.
3 key themes emerged from stories shared by more than 200 people. 1, racism is embedded in the legal system. 2, racism has an impact on lawyers' career growth. And 3, racism affects access to justice. These realities are impacting the overall career satisfaction and mental health of marginalized lawyers, resulting in many leaving their workplace, profession, or the province.
So you have the very people that it works directly with who feel that society is not doing its job.
Ultimately, we need the public's trust in order to be able to have the privilege of self-regulating.
Manzer acknowledges that systemic discrimination exists within the society and profession, and work towards trust and complying with the recommendations has already begun.
The first step for us is further delving into the recommendations, and we're incredibly fortunate to have Mr. Ruck, who's offered his expertise and his guidance as we begin to work through those recommendations.
Organizations like the African Nova Scotian Justice Institute are ready to provide partnership, hopeful that this report is different and will see action.
Let's see what we can do as for ANSJI as a community organization to help support the Nova Scotia Barrister Society, as well as work collaboratively with the implementation lead to address some of these concerns that have been identified in that report. I think that's important.
Megan King, Global News, Halifax.
So today we are talking about the Ruck report just came out with 21 recommendations for how the Barrister Society can better make sure that they're addressing anti-Black racism, but also I think discrimination as a whole. Your response to what you saw this morning and read?
I have the greatest respect for Mr. Ruck and the work that he has done over the years. For the community as a whole in Nova Scotia, but also certainly for the work that he's done within the Black and African Nova Scotian community. So overall, I have to say, with respect to the report, quite impressed. I am a practicing lawyer, non-practicing status now, but have been in the legal profession for just about 30 years. So I've seen it as it's gone through many challenges and changes. And that would be right from the Donald Marshall report in 1989 all the way to this report. And I have to say that this is a report that probably gives me as an individual, as a Black Nova Scotian, but also as the head of this organization, hope. It speaks to a lot of the broad issues, which are very good in terms of looking at systemic racism, anti-Black racism, and basically discrimination on a much broader scale. But I think there's also opportunities within the report to really hone in and narrow in on some of the major concerns that will bring about change in a more significant way. And what I'm referring to is basically the fact that there will be a implementation lead. I think that's really crucial. And that, I'm not quite sure what the setup of that implementation lead will be, but that certainly gives a sense that there's seriousness behind moving this report forward, that it's not going to be a report that will be shelved. In addition to that, there was mention as well about the ombud person, and I think that's important as well. Certainly as long as that person is at arm's length, or I should say even independent, more so, not at arm's length, independent of the legal community as well as the Barrister Society. I think having that individual there to hear the voices of individuals very, very important. In addition to that, another important piece is the data collection and accountability and transparency. That is going to be crucial, and especially making certain that it is disaggregated data, so that we can actually see what is happening moving forward and where the areas of concern are and what we need to do and I say we because I'm part of this community, what the community as a whole needs to do. And certainly as an organization such as ANSJI, we are focused on looking at the legal system broadly, the justice system, and making certain that it is addressing the concerns of Black and African Nova Scotian people in this province. So overall, very supportive, looking forward to somehow connecting with the implementation lead to offer our support as an organization in bringing life to this report, Regaining Trust.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And you said regaining trust at the end there. It's what the report found was that the Barristers Society does not have the trust of some of their some of the lawyers involved, but also the community as a whole. How important is it to try to regain that trust?
I think it's crucial. That's step number one. You know, when we talk about trust generally, it's something that has to be earned, right? So as long as they have the implementation team in place, and there's effort behind this report, then the trust will come. Mm-hmm. It's not something that will happen overnight, but it's certainly something that we all need to work towards. So, yeah.
Last question for you.
Yes.
One of the truths, there was 5 truths that were found in the piece. Last one, I think, being one of the most important ones, is finding that white lawyers and white clients get better outcomes in court. With that truth in mind, how important is it to make sure that diversity is not only prioritized but celebrated when able to get into courts?
Well, I mean, I think that is something that you know, in this province that we've looked forward to, or have not looked forward to, but tried to advance for many years. You know, I can't say whether that's a fact or not. I mean, if it's in the report, but certainly something that like any of the other recommendations in this report that we need to work towards and improve. So yeah, and diversity. You know, as we look around in this province, we are very much about diversity now, whether we're talking the legal profession or more broadly in the community. So the legal profession should reflect the diversity of the community, and certainly the systems in which lawyers work should also reflect that there's opportunity there for those that are working within the system from different marginalized, minoritized, racialized communities, so that we all have opportunities to move forward in this profession and in the career.
And as a lawyer yourself,
yes.
How important is it for clients to see themselves reflected and their cultural upbringing to be able to have that relationship?
Well, there's absolutely no question. I mean, you know, 30 years in the business, my phone would ring constantly in my work as a lawyer. And for those that were coming from the African Nova Scotian and Black community, oftentimes the request was, I just need to know that someone from my community understands what the issue is that's going to court or within the legal system, and therefore I'm seeking out you for that purpose, or someone from the same community for that purpose. So it's crucial. It goes without saying. If we are in rooms where we don't see ourselves reflected, then that does create questions for us, right? Why aren't we, when in fact we are, you know, we are here, we're present, we're not going anywhere. So we need to be very much a part of the whole process, from beginning to end. So yeah.
When you see undeniable truths written out like that, and specifically one where the outcomes of cases are affected by your skin color, why is it so important to address that?
Well, I think that is that's the crux of this report, in that if in fact, you know, the racism is not, we're not just talking about systemic racism and discrimination with respect to racialized Black or African Nova Scotian lawyers. We actually see how that racism also penetrates in the system itself, right within the court structure, and in terms of representation of clients and what the outcomes are for clients. So it's really, really important to be able to, see this in a report such as the Ruck report, and to know that, you know, as the implementation lead moves forward, that this is, you know, front and center as a consideration, that we're not just talking about the lawyers, and in particular Black lawyers. We're talking about the overall impact on society, on communities and such. And so that's crucial. And hence why, in terms of the recruitment piece, when we talk about recruitment of Black lawyers or racialized, or basically lawyers from a diverse background, that it is crucial that we also talk about retention, and that we don't see these sort of undeniable truths, as Mr. Ruck has included in the report, continuing, right? That hopefully this report will also put an end to that. So,
Thank you so much.
Oh, honey, we're about to get very busy up in here.